Today we are joined by the Vice President of the CPCA, Greg Buchanan, and he is here today to talk to us about the opening weekend for the CPCA season, which will be taking place at Meadow Lake this coming up weekend. And so thank you so much for being with me today, Greg.
Thanks for having me, Thomas.
All right, Greg, so for that first race that will be taking place this Friday for most of the drivers, what are they going to be looking to do in that first race after the long off season?
All depending who's on that track. There's a few drivers from the CPCA that, as a permit system in the WPCA, raced in Grand Prairie Stampede this past weekend. So some of them already tested out their horses in front of the live grandstand, in front of other drivers, while others have been doing a lot of spring training. That spring training can include racing on the track, truck training, or else an equicizer that some do have. So it is almost like a preseason in baseball, hockey, or football. So it's a feeling out process between the driver, the horses, and of course the outriders as well.
And so, Greg, with some of those drivers being in that WPCA race and also just with that off season, kind of what are they looking to do when going into Meadow Lake this coming weekend?
You know what? The first 3 days kind of sets the tone for the next month in the month of June for a lot of these drivers. So you don't want to leave points on the table, as they say, because all of a sudden you're at the CPCA finals, you're looking to crack the top 4, you're looking to crack the top 10, top 15, top 20, and you end up being a little bit further back because of a bad day in Meadow Lake. So you don't want to leave points, just like any other sport. You don't want to leave points on the table, whether you're playing in the NHL and you lose about 4 or 5 of your first 82 games. Those 4 or 5 losses at the end of the season could be the difference between making the playoffs and not making the playoffs. Just ask the Florida Panthers.
And finally, the important significance that this Meadow Lake race will have for some of the drivers and Meadow Lake itself.
There's a little emotion for guys like Logan, like DJ King, and many of the Meadow Lake drivers, because this will be the final trip on that track. That track goes out in place of a new arena in Meadow Lake. So a lot of history with Meadow Lake, celebrating their 100th anniversary of the Meadow Lake Stampede. So it's going to be a lot of emotion for a lot of Meadow Lake guys, and you'll see if that emotion it generates into some solid runs and a possible show win for someone that calls Meadow Lake home.
Thank you so much for all the information, Greg, and we will definitely be checking back in with you throughout the CPCA season.
Thanks, Thomas.